What's going on, guys? Welcome to In the Zone. I'm your host, Garrison Roy, and today we're going to go down a little bit of a mental minute episode. But before we get into that, obviously, if you're new, you may not know that we have different segments, but if you are, hey, I want you guys to actually share the show. It's all that I ask for putting all this info out for free, right? Leave a review, put it on your story, text it to someone. It's just the value exchange that I give to you. All I ask is that you share it because I don't do ads or sponsorships or monetize the show in any way whatsoever. So without further ado, we're going to get right into this one. And this one is really just kind of titled, Are You Standing in Your Own Way? And I wish this was a lesson that I learned early on in my career because I knew that I definitely did stand in my own way, whether it was overthinking or doing certain things that were solely focused on baseball, and really just having such a tight grip on the success of how bad I really wanted the success. And that alone was probably hindering me from doing really well in the sport because I just held it to such a high value of my success in the sport is also tied to my self-worth, which is not always, or it shouldn't be true at all, right? Like you should be knowing that you're valuable even without having success within just one particular sport or one aspect of life. But you can strive to have that, right? Having that perfectionism mindset, or even having self-doubt, or procrastinating, having an inability to let things go from the past game or past season, whatever it might be, right? Maybe it's fear of judgment of others, or just having super tunnel vision, like I was saying before. It's like you're super honed in on one thing of like making it to the big leagues or getting that D1 scholarship, making sure that you make all conference, whatever it might be. And sometimes you can overcommit yourself to doing so many different things that you kind of get bogged down and overwhelmed by a lot of that too, where you're trying to do too much. And a great example of what I did to do that was I just wrote down one thing that I did that day in a notebook. What got me closer to my goal today? Did I do some type of form of mobility? Did I do something, throwing wise? Did I do something on maybe learning more about the mental side of the game, reading a book about it, or, whatever it might be? Did I get 1% better at something? And that can help you kind of build on top of those things, but also build on wins, right? You want to have wins on top of wins to help you breed that through the actual game and through life to build those uh, building blocks of success. But this kind of really triggered me whenever I recently watched a clip from the coach at University of Kentucky, and I'll let you guys have a quick look at that here.
And I was beat down. I was a beat down coach. And God taught me a valuable lesson. I did something that I've only done two other times in my life, and I surrendered. I just finally said, Lord, I'm done. I'm done. I cannot do this on my own anymore. I'm hurting for those two boys. I'm hurting for our team. I just felt like, man, and I was trying to do it all by myself. And the Lord put it on my heart that I was not using my spiritual gifts that He's given me. And He basically, we had to make changes. I had to make changes. And one major change we made was we brought Nick Amorati from coaching third base to the dugout to be with the players. And it put me at third base. And I started coaching third base on May 15th of 2022. I started coaching third base and I put Amo in there. You can't make this up. I surrendered. I surrendered. I said, Lord, I can't do it. Reeves knows a Bible verse for every letter in the alphabet. I'm a proud father of that. Reeves, what's your J Bible verse? Jesus what?
Jesus looked at them intently and said, humanly speaking, it is impossible, but with God, anything is possible.
And God taught me a lesson. It's not what you're playing for, it's who you're playing for. And I got done chasing this dream of Omaha, and I just said, I'm done. I'm not chasing that anymore, Lord. I want to play for you. It's not what you're playing for, it's who you're playing for. And that's what God taught me. And I was beat.
Love it. So yeah, a lot of that's jam-packed of just really awesome nuggets in there. But I love the fact that he said, hey, I just surrendered. And from watching this video and just kind of thinking from the outside and having a perspective overall, he said that he removed himself from the dugout and went over to third base, put himself more into the game. And sometimes, maybe even as us as coaches, we can get in our own way to help the team be in the best position to win. Sounded like the guy who's at third base was definitely more of a team coach and needed to be in there and help get guys going. I don't know what the situation might be. Maybe he was just like, hey, I need to make more decisions of sending runners versus not sending runners. Maybe I don't need to focus so much on pitching or, all these other changes that might be going on. And that helped the team perform better overall. And again, it could have been any of those things, but mentally, what he had to do was surrender everything to the Lord and say, hey, I can't keep trying to do this on my own. I need to give this to you. All the hard work, all the things that I put in. He's been around the game for years, right? So it's not so much of what he didn't do, I wouldn't think, or maybe it was certain things that he didn't or did not do. But him taking that and just surrendering it and giving it to him, right? And just taking the stress and the load off of him, trying to do everything himself, trying to put all of this pressure on himself, really gave him a sense of relief. And those guys are tearing it up, headed to the College World Series in Omaha. So hopefully this guys gave you a little bit more of a perspective. Maybe you're one of those guys like myself who is trying so hard and trying to control everything as much as you can to the very finite detail. But just make sure that you release it, let it go, and trust all the practice and everything that you put in will pay off, and stay in the zone.